Welcome back to Wealth of Words, where we dig into some fascinating books and really get to the heart of their ideas. I'm Richard, and I'll be one of your hosts for this little exploration.
And I'm Isabella. Happy to be here tonight, Richard. Ready to dive into a bit of marketing wisdom?
You know, Isabel, I've always felt like marketing is this, well, almost like a secret language that only some people get. All those strategies and tactics, it's a lot, to be honest.
I get it, Richard. Marketing can seem pretty complicated with all the jargon and everything, but that's why we're taking a look at This is Marketing tonight, the book by Seth Godin. Hopefully we can, make marketing a little less mysterious and see what it's really capable of.
Seth Godin, yeah.
Yeah,
He's kind of a big deal in marketing, right?
for sure. He's really known for like a fresh perspective on marketing. And this book, This is Marketing, it challenges that old idea of marketing as, just selling stuff.
Wait, really? So it's not just about those flashy ads and, those really persuasive sales pitches.
Not exactly. Godin says that at its core, marketing is all about making a change. It's about understanding what people need and what they want, and helping them get closer to, well, a better version of themselves.
So making change, huh? That's pretty different from, like, the used car salesperson image I had in my head. So how does this whole marketing has changed thing actually work, in the real world?
Well, think of it this way. Every time we interact or send a message, we have a chance to influence someone's thinking, what they believe, and even their actions. Marketing, when it's done right, can be a powerful force for good.
Okay, I'm starting to get it now. But how do you actually go about creating that change? Where do you even start?
Godin really emphasizes finding your smallest viable market, as he calls it. It's all about figuring out which specific group of people will genuinely connect with what you're saying, and then focusing on them.
So instead of trying to please everyone, you're zeroing in on, like, a niche audience.
Exactly, because trying to be everything to everyone usually ends up, well, pretty mediocre. Like a chef trying to make a dish that everyone will love, you'll probably end up with something bland and, well, not very memorable.
Yeah, I definitely prefer a chef who's passionate about, a specific type of food.
Hmm.
Someone who puts their heart into making something truly unique and delicious.
Absolutely. And it's the same with marketing. By focusing on a specific group of people, you can make a message just for them, something that really speaks to their needs and what they want.
So how do you actually find this uh, smallest viable market? Do you just guess, or is there a more strategic way to go about it?
Well, it involves understanding what you are passionate about, your values, and then looking for people who share those things. It's about building a community around that shared purpose.
And speaking of community, Godin talks about people like us do things like this. What's that all about?
It taps into that, that basic human need to belong. We're social creatures. We're naturally drawn to groups and communities where we feel like understood and accepted.
We all want to be part of something bigger.
Right, exactly. And good marketing gets that and creates this feeling of shared identity. Think
Mhm.
about brands like Patagonia. They've created a whole community around caring for the environment and loving the outdoors.
Yeah, their customers aren't just buying clothes. They're buying into, like, a lifestyle, set of values. They want to be part of that people like us story.
Exactly. And it's not just about, outdoor gear. This applies to all kinds of brands and communities, your favorite musicians, authors, even podcasters. You're drawn to them, well, not just because of their work, but for the community they build around it.
I never thought of it that way, but you're right. We're all looking for those connections, those shared experiences that make us feel like we're part of something.
And that feeling can be pretty powerful. When people connect with a brand or community, they're much more likely to become, loyal fans and even advocates.
So it's not just about, selling a product. It's about building a shared purpose and, like, a shared identity.
Exactly. It's all about building relationships and creating experiences that go beyond, just buying and selling.
That's definitely a fresh take on marketing.
I think so, Richard. It's about going beyond the hype and focusing on that human connection, at the heart of it all.
It feels like we're just scratching the surface here, Isabella. There's so much more to explore in Godin's book, This is Marketing.
There is, Richard. And we'll keep exploring right after a quick word from our sponsors.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back with more insights from Seth Godin and This is Marketing right here on Wealth of Words.
Ah.
And hey, while we're gone, why not tell us about a brand that makes you feel like you really belong, over on our social media? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Richard, as we've been talking, this idea of tension that Godin brings up, it's been on my mind.
Yeah, the trust and tension thing, right? I definitely noticed that.
It's pretty fascinating. He says that, obviously building trust is super important in marketing, but you also need some level of tension to get people to actually take action.
Tension. I'm not sure I'm following. Isn't tension like a bad thing?
Not always. In this context, he's talking about tension as that gap between, where someone is now and where they want to be.
Oh, I see. It's like that feeling of wanting to like improve yourself, learn something new, or, reach some goal you've set.
Exactly. And good marketing can really tap into that. You highlight the gap and then, you offer a solution.
So it's not about, you know, making people scared or anxious,
Mhm.
but it's more like acknowledging their aspirations and helping them close that gap.
Exactly. Godin uses this example of Vision Spring. They're a nonprofit that provides affordable eyeglasses in developing countries.
Yeah, I remember reading about them.
Right. And their marketing, it doesn't focus on the technical parts of the glasses. Instead, they highlight the tension that people feel when they need glasses but don't have them, how hard it is to read, to work, even to see their family clearly.
So they're not just selling eyeglasses, they're selling, the ability to live a better life.
Yeah. Precisely. They're addressing a real need and offering a solution that, well, empowers people.
That's a great example. And it makes me think about, well, how this tension idea plays out in everyday life, not just, buying stuff.
Oh, for sure. Think about like your own personal goals. Say you want to learn, I don't know, a new language. There's that tension between, not being fluent now and wanting to speak confidently.
I feel that all the time. I've been trying to learn Spanish forever, but I'm still not there yet.
Well, that tension, it can actually be a good thing. It pushes you to find resources, make time, and practice, well, until you reach your goal.
And I guess a good language learning app, it would recognize that tension and like really speak to that desire to be fluent.
Exactly. They might share stories of people who learn the language, showing all the benefits and, how powerful it is to overcome that gap.
So it's not about creating pressure that isn't real.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging that we all have dreams and challenges, and good marketing, well, it can help us get where we want to go.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Richard.
And speaking of, getting from one place to another, Godin also talks about how important storytelling is in marketing.
Yes. People don't just buy products, they buy stories. They connect with the emotions, the values, and the aspirations that a brand represents.
Like those brands with a cult following. People don't just love what they sell, they love the whole experience, the community, the whole story behind it.
Exactly. Think about Tesla. They aren't just selling electric cars, they're selling a vision of the future, a sustainable future.
Right. It's not just getting around, it's about innovation, caring for the environment, maybe even a little status.
Precisely. And that leads us to another big idea that Godin explores, status and affiliation.
Yeah, that basic human need to fit in, but also to stand out.
It's a powerful thing, and smart marketers, they know how to use it. They see that people use their choices to show who they are, what they believe in, and what they want in life.
It's like they say, you are what you buy.
Right. Exactly. Think about luxury brands, for example. They often appeal to that desire for status, feeling exclusive and being part of a special group.
I'll admit, I've definitely splurged on like a fancy coffee or something designer every now and then. It's not always logical, but it feels nice to, treat myself.
We all have our little indulgences, Richard. Nothing wrong with that. The key is to be aware of, what's driving those choices and to choose consciously.
So it's about finding that balance between expressing yourself and, being mindful of the messages you're sending, both to yourself and to everyone else.
Absolutely. And speaking of messages, Godin talks about this shift from, he calls it interruption marketing, to permission marketing.
Permission marketing. That sounds way better than those annoying telemarketing calls we used to get, right in the middle of dinner.
It definitely is. Permission marketing is about earning the right to connect with people.
It's like the difference between a pushy salesperson and a friend who gives you good advice, someone you trust.
Exactly. Godin says the best way to earn permission is to create something truly remarkable, something people can't help but talk about and share.
So it's not about, shouting your message as loud as you can. It's about making something so good that people are naturally drawn to it.
Exactly. He uses the example of Penguin Magic. It's a magic shop that built a huge community by offering amazing customer service, exclusive content, and a real passion for magic.
So they created a space where people felt welcome, valued, and inspired to, well, explore their own love of magic.
Exactly. That's the power of permission marketing. When you make something remarkable and invite people in, they're much more likely to become, loyal fans and even tell others about it.
It's like building a movement, not just
Yeah.
selling something.
I love that. It's about creating a shared experience, a sense of belonging, and a genuine desire to see the world become a little more, magical.
This is all starting to click for me now, Isabella. Marketing, when it's done right, isn't about tricking people or manipulating them. It's about understanding what people need, building real connections, and creating experiences that have, a positive impact.
I couldn't agree more, Richard. And, well, I think it's time we talked about how these ideas can be used in our own lives, whether we're, entrepreneurs, artists, or just everyday people trying to navigate this crazy world.
Now you're talking. That's exactly what I was hoping we'd get into. But first, a quick shout out to our listeners. Thanks for joining us on this literary journey.
Yes, thank you for being here. And if you're digging this exploration of This is Marketing, we'd love for you to follow Wealth of Words wherever you get your podcasts. We've got so many fascinating books we want to explore together.
As we're wrapping up talking about This is Marketing, you know what really strikes me?
What's that, Richard?
Just how much of what Godin's saying applies to, like, way more than just business.
Oh, totally. These ideas are so flexible. They apply to so many things.
Like artists, right?
Yeah.
Musicians, writers, painters, they're all kind of like marketers, aren't they?
They really are. I mean, they make something, they put it out there, and they hope to connect with people, just like any business would.
And they got to build that trust, tell good stories, and, find their people, all those things we've been talking about.
Exactly. Think of a musician who's trying to, build up their fan base. They have to create music that speaks to a certain group, build a community, and find ways to connect with their fans, on a personal level.
It's almost like they're making a world that people want to be a part of.
Exactly. And this goes beyond art, too. These ideas apply to our relationships, our jobs, even our hobbies.
Really? Tell me more.
Well, think about networking or even applying for a job. You're basically marketing yourself, showing off what you can do to potential employers.
Yeah, you're right. Never thought of it that way.
You're trying to stand out, show your value, and make a good impression. It all comes back to understanding who you're talking to and tailoring your message to them.
And even in our personal lives, we're always communicating, building relationships, and trying to connect with people who get us.
Exactly. We're all kind of marketers, whether we know it or not. And I think that's one of the most encouraging things about Godin's book.
It's not about tricking people into buying stuff. It's about connecting with them for real and offering them something that actually makes their life better.
It's a good way to look at it, right?
It is. And it's kind of empowering, too. It means we can all be marketers, not in a sleazy way, but in a way that reflects our values and does some good in the world.
I love that. It's about finding your purpose, sharing your passions, and building a community around something you truly believe in.
It's about making a difference, even a small one.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe we'll even inspire some other people along the way.
Imagine a world where marketing's about, building bridges instead of burning them. Where it's about creating value instead of taking advantage of people.
Now, that's a world I want to be a part of.
Me too. And I think it starts with, just being aware, recognizing how powerful these ideas are and choosing to use them for good.
Well said, Richard.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our journey through This is Marketing. But that doesn't mean the conversation has to stop here.
We want to hear what you think, what really stuck with you from Godin's ideas. How do you see yourself using them, in your own life?
Head over to our social media and tell us. And if you're ready for more deep dives into fascinating books, make sure you subscribe to Wealth of Words wherever you get your podcasts.
We've got a whole library of amazing books waiting for us. So until next time, keep reading.
And remember, folks, the best kind of marketing is the kind that makes you proud. Good night, everyone, and happy reading.